Hello, hello, hello. Hello, can you hear? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so our course will get started within 2 minutes. Just waiting for a few moments. Later, we will definitely get started. Hello, hello. Okay, so welcome to the class, and this is Jackie. So today we are going to definitely talk about this kind of topic. Yeah, today's topic is something related to the outdoor design, but just pay attention here. Today we are going to use the tool, okay, the online design 5.0. Okay, so if you are curious about garden design, outdoor design, today is a kind of basic tool logic course to help you to analyze. Okay, so what we need and something we need to fulfill with our design. Okay, so first today here I can give you some of the topic analyzing. The first thing is to finish some of the design, of course, but it's mainly on the outdoor, and also we need to handle some of the things regarding the floors, regarding the relationship between indoor and outdoor. And then the second thing here we need to handle is the render. Yeah, this is always the kind of tricky challenge point for you because I've received quite a lot of information saying that they really want to have a better effect. Maybe indoor is fine, but turn it to outdoor if you used, for example, the light format, it's really hard to control, or it looks not so natural, or it is not so good for the format. So is there any solution to handle about the light? So today actually we will divide them into two parts. So before that, first, for the basic logic of outdoor design, you can see this is kind of a very standard usage. You see, now we have not only indoor but also outdoor area, and also you see, okay, controlling the ceiling, you can see here actually is nothing. So the very basic logic from the very beginning is just to use our tool, okay, the outdoor design, the exterior. Yeah, this is the key thing. And also another potential challenging point is something related to the floors. So let me just first to finish one of the preparation for you. It's a kind of a basic analyzing for you. So don't worry about that. Okay, whatever we do first, of course, to finish the basic interior design, let's say just we have some of the rooms, okay, and some of the constructions, but these are all something related to the interior, okay? And then what we need to handle here, of course, we turn to the floor plan. We can use now a very special tool. It's called exterior, okay, external area. So you can click this one, okay. Before that, some of our users saying that we directly use rectangle wall to draw, but it's fine. You can also use some so-called logic, the bigger room to cover it, but sometimes it will cost you extra efforts to draw to handle the boundary. Okay, if you use this one. So after that, we directly suggest we can use the tool in the floor plan, the external area, this one. Okay, you can just click, and most of the time, it depends on the real estate, the area, the boundary of the real estate. Is it rectangle? Is it some other shapes? You can directly use the tool, but also you can directly use the guideline as well. Here we support the guideline. For example, you can mark out how is the length, how is the gap. So what is the area? Is it a bigger or smaller? You can mark them out. Okay, it depends on your demand. And then you can use some rectangles. Okay, the fastest way, of course, you can also use linear arc. It depends on that status. Finally, draw out. Yeah, this also can support, for example, to type in the number. Okay, so it depends on your using. So what's the benefit of using this one? First, you don't have to handle about the ceiling because it's outdoor, right? This one, external area is definitely outdoor. Second, you can get rid of the worrisome of the material, and also you see the boundaries. You don't need to handle about that. We already have a well settled area, okay, with just the lines, yeah, without those thinnings of the walls. So it's really a good way to help you. Yeah. And then, of course, if you want to have extra construction, different levels, higher levels, you can set a new upper, okay? Or here, I also suggest another solution. Click empty area, room height, directly type into, for example, 5.6, 5.4 meter, and it will directly goes up. It's up to your choice. Sometimes you might find it, for example, using this way, it will be easier. Let's say 3 meter, one one level, and then new upper. Okay, new upper, second. And then when you turn to the second floor, just remember to delete the floor. Okay, just remember to delete the floor, because here you see now we're on the second floor. Definitely there will not be the grassland on the second floor outside. So just click delete. Okay, and then you can have only one level, show all floors. See, right? Of course, you can change the opacity to check easier. And at this moment, all the things, all the decorations inside the room will just definitely be the same as your previous the thing you learned. Yeah, so just use this way, and then we can set up with some decors. But of course, sometimes you will have another challenge. For example, how about if I let's turn to the first floor. Okay, this is showing you some of the very basic logic. Okay, the operation logic. Let's say here, if we have the entrance for the doors, so you can, for example, some double doors or whatever it goes, and then suddenly find out that actually we have extra stairs, right? The staircase, yeah, that steps, let's say steps to climb up to the entrance, which means actually this one, the outer area is lower. So how can we handle that? Actually, turn into 2D view, click the area, yeah, using one of this function called the drop panel, which means this entire outer area you've just clicked will drop down. Let's say not that much. Let's say 2 or 300. Okay, so 300 lower than the zero level. See, still this is zero level, and then we can bring some more stairs. For example, the easiest way: click using the floor editor, Of course, you can search for the steps, for the stairs or something. Yeah, you can also draw here, for example, to click, okay, to draw, okay, another, for example, bigger, something like this, right? And then set extrusion 300, same level, 150 with a gap. See, this is also the way. Also the way. Now we directly have those elements. Okay, later if you want to have more, for example, the pavings, you can turn to the material component, just choose and pave. Yeah, and then it will turn to another challenge. How about the boundary? And also, how about the renders? I know some of you, when turning to the render part, just want to saving time and then using this kind of a scenario, using, okay, of course not in the building, in the city. Sometimes maybe just choose some of the views, okay, outdoor in the different viewings, but actually still not so good, right? Today we will pay attention about this to spend more time to handle the details. But at least you see, for creating those different constructions with suitable constructions, you will have ways to do that. Okay, so this is the first logic, the preparation for the main construction. And the second here, we will try to analyze how can we do from this scenario to this. Okay, so first, if you have, for example, this is the terrace, definitely this is outdoor. Okay, and then you will find it actually is not so enough for the view, right? Even we use some barriers. We use the fender, we use the deco wall. These are the independent deco wall. You can directly put, but that's not so. Still outside, for outside scenario, the environment is not so good. Still, we need the extra effort. So at this moment, my suggestion for the outer area, okay, first outer area will be in 2 points. First point, easy. Try to draw another external area. Even now, we use the terrace or we even use the room. It's fine. Directly draw out another. For example, floor plan, external area, rectangle. Okay, draw a massive, a very big one. Okay, to cover those areas that you might need to show to the in the render. Sometimes it's much bigger than you can imagine. So make it really, really a big size. And then, of course, you can put the other decorations, even put the public paths or some other the driving ways. Yeah, it depends on you. For example, I just make it simple. Let's get concrete. Sometimes make it very, very simple. Okay, or just for example, let me just use the grassland, use the mud. It's also fine for using. Just click and put. Okay, this is the first. At least you need to have some very normal or basic elements for the paving, or you can use this one. I remember I select this very, very standard file. Let's say we can use asphalt, something like this one. Yeah, just click and put as well. And then the second thing here, of course, don't forget some more buildings, okay, to combine, okay, to put the buildings between the main target, okay, to the backstage environment. So here you can directly searching for like something like villa or some other decors. Yeah. And these villas you can directly put in some other area just next to it. No need to get it really close. Sometimes make it just very naturally placed. Yeah, make it far away. Don't get too close. Okay, so these are also available for some decoration. For example, here I just put some of the elements in the position just to show. Okay, in the render, it can just help you to cover. Why we use this one is to cover the boundary to make it smooth. Of course, in here you can bring more, even bring like trees, the brushes, and also the even sometimes like forest, okay, to put those elements onto it. Yeah, just to cover some of the barrier when you turn to render. And then, of course, talking about the boundary, the best thing is still some of our walls and also some of the fenders. So you can definitely search, for example, yeah, independent walls or decor walls to put it there to cover. Okay, for example, this one I just need to duplicate. Yeah, duplicate some of the elements. Click, copy. Yeah, if it is hard to move, holding down the control button force the model to put into the position. So this will be a very suitable way. And also, since we have some of these models that with the thickness, right? See, even if you use, for example, the wall or the room to draw, and then you set the height of the wall turn to 0 or to 1, you still can use the model. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And also, of course, to change the size here and drag, okay, till it reach the end of the front. See? And then sometimes after you finish all these boundaries, you can also put, for example, stones. Here I really use the stone. You can just search and then to drag to cover. Yeah, talking about those interior, the viewings inside the garden. The prior thing actually is this one. Okay, I believe actually you all find this something. Yes, the key thing is to cover them. Okay, the key thing is to cover those elements. So the logic is to cover it. Okay, yeah, you need to cover all those boundary, all those elements. Try to cover it. So, for example, even if you have this kind of take the corner taking, and then if you have some of the elements, for example, the stones, yeah, you see, actually we directly take it cover. Yeah, also the fender as well to cover. And some of the elements, for example, models, you see, if directly you put, it will always lies onto it. But at this moment, if you want to put it properly, directly set to 0. Yeah, it's fine to have some conflict because you want to cover the boundaries. And also, let's take a look at the stairs. For example, this area. Drawing out stairs, it is easy. Click the floor editor, okay, and also ignore the thickness of these kind of the stones. Yeah, just take a kind of operation to draw them out. Yeah, for example, here, of course, if you want, click, darkly draw, roughly draw one of the boundaries. No need to take a big one. Yeah. And of course, if you want, you can draw them in another direction. For example, to fully cover, just fit this area. And then you can use the offset. Using offset will help you to directly control the different gaps. For example, here, click another gaps. Okay. So making the correct gappings and then to give the straight line to draw, set those boundaries, or even you directly use the reference line is acceptable. For example, to draw, yeah, through the throughout the boundary is also acceptable. Don't worry. And then all those useless lines here, holding down Shift button, delete. This one, delete. Okay. Yeah, you can now directly control with the certain distance or the gaps. Yeah, to drag. Also, it's also available for controlling or add to some by using the reference line here. By using the reference line, directly mark out, let's say 300. Yeah, or not that big, 180. Okay, dragging is also acceptable. So click. Okay, same here. Just roughly draw them out and then use the reference line. It's also acceptable. Okay, and after that, extrusion as well. So it really depends on how is the height. For example, this one, it's approximately 450, I think. You can first to try. Yes, it's true. Yeah. Before that, I already used the way to change, but this time it's not changing the panel drop. The slab is not dropping, but directly indoor, I also used extrusion. Here, the indoor area, I use the extrusion as well to set. It's actually the same logic. But just pay attention, the model, the gap, okay, the gap of the model above the floor. Sometimes you need to make it 0. Yeah. Sometimes even you have to holding down control button to force them to lower a bit. Okay. Typing numbers. Yeah. The gap would be around 150. It's suitable for climbing up. And also, if you want to have more, for example, the elements, for example, the decoration, you can turn back. It's easier to directly turn back to the material component. Yeah, I know sometimes you want to use the elevation, but for me, I can directly control not only here but also for the walls, even for the ceiling. Sometimes materials, yeah, using the material component to pave. For example, steel you can use, or you can add to Ferrari for some of the materials. I just roughly give one. Okay, and even if, let's say, some of the stones or like the tiles, uh, say uh, here, just click. If you want to add, for example, to add the elements not only on one side but make it continue with different sides, you can click and then use the connect faces. Yeah, connect them. It's full covered. You see, it's fully covered, and also you can change in one time because they are connected faces. So it's really helpful for a quick modification. And that's not only for one, you can connect with the other. Just make sure these surfaces are connected. Okay, confirm. It all fit. And also the continual shows, you see the gap here? The gap, they are directly automatically joined together. So no worry about the position of the paving or the gap. Yeah. So this is for the stairs cover. And the similar logic it shows in here, you see. This one. Okay. For the plant pool, sometimes you use the model directly searching for the plant pool. It's okay. So sometimes if you want to bring more, for example, the free decor, you can here, you see, you can put some of the flowers and the brushes and the plants, the greens, but the boundaries, yeah, you need to handle about the boundary. So here I just use two ways in order to give you some of the comparison. Normal model is fine, but sometimes you can't just make a proper one. You might have to combine more elements manually. Okay, and sometimes some of the pool side here, the plant, the green pools, so you can also turn to the floor editor to make it cover. Okay, so wait, yeah, you can see actually all those elements uh, set as the touching surface to the slab, to the floor, will show in this surface. You can use this eyeball here to show the floor model. Okay, this little eyeball, floor model in floor editor. Okay, why we talk about this one? Because it's really helpful. You can make correct position when you do the drawing. Yeah. For example, turn it to a rectangle. And also, you see, when you have this model, it even can help us for the auto snap, for the positioning. See, now we have a proper auto snap. But how about those model that maybe in the air? Well, it can't be seen, but it's fine because you can change the position, make it lower to touching the floor, and then after finish drawing, make it higher. For example, here I just roughly to draw. Okay, I'm not sure if it is big enough. You see, actually, I can see about the position and then drag. Okay. Yeah, it will be easier. It will be easier. Okay, and then for example here, click, holding down Shift button, do a chamfer. Okay, and then you can also use the offset. Yeah, make it may not that big. Okay, now extrusion. Of course, those plants definitely won't directly touching down to the zero level. It might have some gap. For example, let's get the 108. But outside above, for example, some bricks, well, it will be higher. Okay, so you can now see some of the chamfer corner with the material. Then you can use, just now we use that, just now we talked about elevation. This is how we use, click elevation, okay, and then put some materials, stones, tiles, okay, whatever, just click and put. But actually, that's not so proper. I really suggest we turn back. Yeah, we can turn back to the material component. Okay. Yeah, in here, for example, the same. Still use those elements from stone or whatever. So you can click and put. Just click and roughly to put onto it. And also, for example, this one, click again, connect faces, confirm. This area, try if you can. Yeah, get a full cover. Click at the paving, confirm. Inner part, I think it's fine using the paving brush. It's also acceptable for those elements. Yeah. Finally, for example, this area, this for the mud, you can also searching for the mud or for other element. I even suggest you to use like dirt surface. Click because sometimes it's better to cover the element. Yeah, and then those plants, just pay attention about the position. Yeah. Wait a minute. See, just make sure don't get some of the plants looking like this. Okay, yeah, just make it full cover. Okay. It can be get insert. The position can be insert, but try to avoid some of the details unless you really need to show them. Okay, just try to cover it. So still, the key thing is covering. Okay, and also, for example, here trees. Yeah, frequently when we talked about the greens in the garden, we forgot one thing: the connection. Yeah, sometimes if directly looking like this, unless you really have kind of a trees planted in the really small holes, and then make it like that, okay. If it is not that thing, try to use some of the decor to cover. At this moment, I have collect something for you. Two elements. First is the triple, okay, triple, and actually this kind of a model is quite big. Yeah, you can also still make it scale even to use part of it. Yeah, it's fine to just let it cover. But before you put in these elements, make sure that your big tree can get a proper position. You see, the first picture I used for the render, it directly put into the position feeling good. But when it turned to the render, I can see the leaves inside the room behind the window, which is really ridiculous. So at this moment, I have to change the dimension to avoid. See, after avoiding that, well, it looks better, looks reasonable. Okay, and then of course the position you can make it higher now. Okay, just leave a gap, leave a proper position for the plant, and also don't forget to choose some of the stones or the small rocks to cover. Same here, to cover the roof. Okay, yeah. You can search for stones and then change and then to hide. This is really helpful. If you really have something, have the element that you find it really hard to control, well, some more model to cover it, it definitely would be an excellent choice. So that's also the reason I wrote it here, cover it. Okay, this is also really will be really helpful for you. Okay, uh, put my exciting on the external area. Which one? Can I also put my existing floor plan on the external? Um, you mean the previous design work, right? Well, I would like to say if you already finished some of the design, it's better to, for example, to duplicate one and then to create. Yeah, maybe you will find it easy to have some errors when you do the first trial. So I suggest to duplicate the case. And then you can use the logic just now I've shown you. Yeah, to draw external area, to put the elements. Yeah, this is also available. Most of the time you can use it unless your previous exercise it's really special with the component constructions. It depends. Yeah. Okay, so this one will be proper. You can searching for some models, or even if you want, you can create. Okay, and then the basic here, just don't forget to give the basic elements on the floor, the very default setting of the floors. Yeah, just don't make it blank or just don't leave it as the normal grassland. Well, that's not so nice. Okay, everything we need to prepare for the detail. And also, if it's anything looking not so natural, directly cover it. Try to use some more element to cover. Yeah. For example, even if you really have some of the preference for the plant or for the trees, let's say, and the leaves is very big, well, use some curtain, right, to cover. Still the same logic. Okay. So far, actually, with so many preparation on the floor, actually we can directly turn to the next step. Yeah, so far. Just one more thing. For example, you can compare with these two. Okay, these are some well prepared, refined work of the villa, of the multi-layer building. But here, what's missing? What's missing? Rules, right? If actually it depends. If you really insist to just render within the garden, ignoring the roof, well, it's fine. Unless saying that you want to render like the drone sign, something. For example, you want to view from like higher with a higher altitude, you can try searching for the roof. Yeah, just directly put the elements onto it. It's fine. Okay, so still the logic is to cover it, but it's really essential for you to have some of those elements. And for example, for roof, you can holding down Control button, okay, and then to drag to make it full cover. Try to change the scale. Yeah, of course, not that big. Just cover the main area. Okay, something missing is fine because you seldom render the position. See, still can use, right? Just a quick render, and even for material component, you can draw. It's fine. If you want a very specific items, you can draw onto it. Well, that's another topic for the constructions. And also some of the backyard here, it depends. If you want, you can just continue to cover that. But if it's nothing related to the render effect, well, leave it. Don't worry about it. Okay? And before you turn to the render, my country suggestion for those painting on the wall, try to select those matte material. Okay, it's a little bit rough. It's not like the polished material because I really happen to see some of the cases they use tiles on on the wall, and then when it turned to the render, wow, the walls got bling bling outside. It's really something that I feel is unnatural and not reasonable. Okay, so try to use the painting material, and even after when you turn to the render, today we will use the real-time rendering. If you forgot that, I can also help you to change the material temporarily. Don't worry, okay? So this time, let's turn to, for example, the render. Yeah, actually, we finish in this case some of the renders. Let me just show you with the. I think I have the download. Yeah, see, this is the scenario. You want to try this one? This is the final result. Today I will show you how to do it. Yeah, to get a render effect and also to get more controllable for the element. Okay, so don't worry. First, here, when we talk about render outside, most of the time, the best effect will always be with the sunlight. Okay, so turn to the render. Okay, move to a proper position. Just now we've talked about the combinations. So if you can just limit, okay, limit the boundary, for example, change into here, or on that position, put several cars, the brush, some other bush and green plants. It will be better. For example, let me just cover that gap. Outdoor. Here we do have so many different elements, shrubs, plants, trees. Yeah, you can select those elements. There will be various. So just click the easiest way. See, yeah, I don't care about what we put here. It's fine. Just put it roughly. Put it here, and even to see. Yeah, we do have for the array fast array. Get some array. Confirm done. Yeah, it's easy, right? If you want put more like cars, right? Put some of the normal cars onto it. It's also acceptable. So just try to put some of the elements, okay? Well, size ratio is incorrect. So turn it back, reasonable, right? So this is also the preparation. And then when you turn to the render this time, okay, my suggestion, I've already finished the lights. Now I create one. And if you want to turn to customize lights, see, if you or you use some format, well, these are definitely causing that disaster. Believe it or not, you can try realistic outdoor or outdoor because it's no longer being refreshed. Yeah, we no longer update the data, so these two will directly give you the overexposure result. Yeah, overexposure, pure white, blank everywhere, not so good. So today, my suggestion here, directly check the real time. Okay, and for real time here, you can now I can add up something for you. Not using the indoor. This is mainly serve the interior design. You can turn to daytime. Yeah, later I can also show you with during night. But for this kind of design case, maybe not so good for the night because outdoor there's not much about the light strip, about the deco light. So I suggest if you want, you can use the daytime. Yeah, for night you have to put actually quite a lot of the luminous, yeah, the luminous product to decorate to get a better effect. So wait a moment, wait a moment. Here we are adding the customize light, and then the default setting will definitely still mainly focus on the internal zone design. But actually, for the outdoor, what you're seeing is just some light effect, and also to make it soft. Okay, don't get it too strong, and also control the shadow, control the strength of the shadows. Data slow. Wait. Hope it's. Hmm. Actually, not so much. About the lights, not so much. Um, Let me check about this one if it is faster or enough. Faster enough because here is too slow. Okay, this one. Okay, let me just show you very simplified. That one is too slow. I use this one. Okay, this is the previous case. See, Decker now. So what's the difference here? You see, first you have definitely the sun itself. Yeah. And then pay attention about first thing is to pay attention about the height. That not like those elements in inside the room. It's not interior design. Outside room, you can directly make the sun, the angle of the sun really high. Okay, because this is outside. You don't have to use the sun to get a really long range of the shadow. You just need to make the shadow naturally lies on the floor. Okay, and even with the changings by your outside greens, outside plants. Okay, so this is the first. You can make it higher, higher angle. And the second, you see, color temperature. Most of the time, we don't suggest to taking the sun view. We don't suggest to bring it really, really uh, like the pure white. Okay, don't make it pure white. Sometimes warm feeling is better. Warm feeling. So 4,400 Kelvin suitable. And shadow, of course, make it soft. It depends on your using. See, for example, 3.0, make it really soft. 2.0, no more than 5. Okay, if you make it higher than 5 in the index, it will quite similar to a kind of a cloudy day. Okay, it's not the sunny day. So it depends. Of course, it depends on your preference. Sometimes if you really prefer that, well, it's up to yours. So around 2 to 5. Okay, brightness remain with the default setting. Will bring a sunshine day. If you turn to 20, well, it's really weak, cloudy day. Okay, so make different viewing easy, right? And then that's not the end. Here, location parameter. This one, it really depends on the outside viewing. About the outside view, you can check here. For example, environment. Yeah. And environment, of course, the first floor is the best, the villa first floor. Sometimes lake view is fine, but you can see only when you want to turn to the viewing, you can only see for example, the sky, and even that's not so blue sky, okay? And others just pay attention position, about the position. Uh, is it really high in the air, or it's just touching to the ground. You see here, these are some views touching to the ground, and just try to find a sunny day. Okay, make it match. The key thing is to match, just make it match. And also, don't forget outdoor brightness. I believe before the setting, the outdoor brightness is like 5 or 6 with the index. Yeah, it's sometimes really overexposure. Well, actually, you can lower them to around 2. Yeah, turning the viewing around 2 is just quite similar. Okay, 1, it means nothing about the lights effect, just like the normal picture. But actually, it's lack of the detail when you turn to the 1.0 outdoor brightness, just controlling the outside, the sphere, the big sphere picture, the brightness of the big sphere picture. It's nothing related to those shadow. Okay, don't worry. So this time, make it. I think 2 is for me. I can acceptable. For yours, well, you can choose your preference. Ambient brightness. This one it controls. Okay, it controls the dark area. So I can give you some changing. For example, see, when we turn to a higher level, well, it's overexposure. Definitely not so good. So turn to 3. Most of the time, 3 is enough. Okay, this one is outdoor. You see, outdoor. And actually, from a kind of a view of photographing, you need to accept some of the shadows. Okay, don't make everything like blinding everywhere. You have to accept some of the shadows. So most of the time, 2 or 3, 3 is absolutely good. Okay, so just make sure here. Turn nature. Cold is for night. Okay, nature is suitable. And ambient light reflection, that's also my suggestion. Don't make it too high. What will happen if you make it too high? You can take a look at here. See, can you see the difference? Let me make it higher. Overexposure, see. Yeah. So that's the reason I just suggest don't bring it too high for the index. This one, most of the time you can remain under 3. Okay, here even I just use 1.2 or 1.4. Good enough. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay, and also here this is environment, and you can turn to the effect as well. This one, this one. This one controls the indoor brightness. In our tool logic, those position without the ceiling is indoor. So when you turn the bigger, brighter, you see, it only controls interior. It's nothing related to the outside. So don't worry about that. Okay, indoor brightness standard is fine. Yeah, maybe you need to control with some of the details you want to enhance the effect. Okay, around 145, around 150, it's absolutely good enough to balance. Yeah, of course you don't want this one to get too dark. The indoor don't get too dark. You can bring it with light, especially if you have some decor before. Okay, and if you talk about the other, okay, other rooms, you can also bring with the light, just something like this. Okay, I just delete all the light, and then I manually put one of this light here. Yeah, of course, here you can also duplicate. Let me just show you. It's very standard using. Even I don't change the brightness here. I just need to make it higher, putting it into the room, right? See, of course, this one it depends on the decoration. If you don't finish the decor well, there's nothing there. If you want, you can also bring it. Yeah, most of the time, don't get too big. Yeah, this square, don't get it smaller. It's better. See, yeah, it will be looking natural. Okay, and finally, material. Click. If the material is not supported, you can turn to material. And here for the painting, so you can click and put, even you see, if you put the stones, let's say, I just choose one of the area to show you. I believe you can tell the difference now. See, this is matte material. It will definitely better than those elements with the higher polished, even like the reflection feels like the glass. Sometimes don't do it. Okay, just try to use some brush and light color. It's fine. It's already good enough for using. Okay, see. And of course, if you want, you can control the detail, reflective glossiness, and also the refractions. 1.2, make it lower. And the reflection here, if you want to control this reflection, you can edit, for example, brightness. You can see the different changing. See, brightness, make it lower, then it will turn to with more sensitive to the sunlight. Yeah, you can control this brightness. Okay, so this is reflection. Reflection glossiness also you can change, but most of the time we just use the reflection and then the refraction, these two. Okay, so this also to help for us. And finally here, for example, if you want to have a proper render, for example, looking like this one, you see, yeah, this is depth of the field, depth of the field. So you can control with the camera. Yeah, in camera here also I have some collection of the viewing. If you taking your user view, for example, this time, if you want to have a proper viewing, just try to leave some of the elements in front of the camera. For example, this view, it shows you have those really those elements that just directly next to your camera. You see the position 2D. See, this is just directly next to the camera. Okay, this is the front view. And then if you want, just pay attention about those elements. Okay, take a preview. This definitely not so suitable, so void. You can use clipping, okay, make it just disappear. And also, it's a kind of a good way to help you, for example, to take composition. For example, put the interesting point into the main part. For example, the interesting point for this case, trees, triple, okay, the glass window, okay, the bench, yeah, even the content behind the glass window. So you can take a view like this, okay, and then activate the depth of the field. Okay, for depth of the field, it's really a good function to helping you or to help you to create the feeling of reality, because this is what we can have, what we can enjoy from our eyesight. We will focus, or we will have more interesting in the distance, okay, between near or far away. So this one, depth of the field, it will help. When you activate that, my suggestion for the index, don't get it too high for a big view. For example, if you take FOV really big, don't make it too high. But if you want to get it smaller, well, you can remain the index, for example, within the range of from 15 to 20. Okay, so this will be a good way, but don't get it too full. Sometimes not so good. Okay, most of the time around this is proper. Now click the mirror, click the window, and prepare, get a render. Okay, yeah, of course you can take different viewings. For example, this is also, you see, also here we can void the roof. Sometimes you don't want to pay extra time to do the detail, you can change into the different viewing. See here as well, well, this one I need to change the distance above the floor, change the model. And this one, put the brush, put the bush, put the plant, put cars or the other decors. Well, it's also can use. Sometimes maybe change the environment viewing here. You can change a proper with a proper dimension, for example, like this, right? Just cover some of the boundaries, and it's perfect. So just use some of the viewing. Yeah, if that's not so suitable for the viewing, change to some other. Overall, for the view, just make sure you have a proper choice and get a render. Okay. So is it good for you? This one is too slow. I have to use this. Luckily, I prepare for two cases. Okay. Yeah. So overall, we just need to pay attention about those lights. Some of the index, and it's fine. Okay. Any questions or any requirement from your side you want to listen to? Yeah. This is daytime. Yeah. Is architect function going to be official soon for all accounts? I know what you're talking about. This one, right? New house project architect. I think yes. Yeah. But this, the benefit for this function actually relies on, for example, you don't have to customize the lights. You don't have to take handle with those outer scenario, the sphere, the decors around the real estate. You just need to focus on the construction, the building, yeah, the building itself. So it depends. Sometimes it's really helpful, but some saying that it's not so good, actually not so good for the garden design. And it's not because it's already fixed there. Yeah, even when you talking about the render, it actually the logic is to move the garden into different position rather than move your building. So so just pay attention about the difference. Yeah, sometimes it's good, but for me, I just prefer to get more freedom to get this drawing. Yeah, I want to determine all the elements. Yeah. I think yes, it's soon, but not that much. Maybe within 1 or 2 months. Okay. And also, another option for you, for example, if you find it still not so bright enough, or if you really uh, prefer to have brighter the ambience area, still using the ambient light to simulate the environment, it's uh, actually also work. Okay. For example, this time make it bigger. Let me just show you something. Brightness very soft 20. Yeah, and then you can take a look about the shadow. Also, just put it near. Yeah, make a very big one. You can see you can find it really brighter in the position, and when you put it here, it will also bring some of the effect. Yeah, make it brighter. Actually, I don't prefer this one. Yeah, it only works for interior design in this logic. It's not so suitable for the lights. You see, when I put it here, it will light it up in some position, but not so proper. Well, it depends on you, on your choice. Okay. Overall, I still prefer to accept the shadow. Yeah. Okay. And by the way, don't forget, actually, we can drag the endpoint of the sun. Okay. No need to worry about the position. You see, we can drag, we can drag the sun to make it a proper angle. Okay. Make a proper angle for having some shadows, having some lines onto the floor. Wow. Okay. So next, which one you want? To Do you want to see the night? Some index. You want to see the night? Yeah, some index in customizing the night light. Okay. So still, let's directly turn to that. Turn to this one. Okay. For night light, actually, is not that hard. Yeah, what you need besides the luminous product here, of course, still, still we use the nighttime light, and the second here, you see, is the simulation of the moonlight. This, although you see it's the sun symbol, but still you can simulate the moon. The color temperature will be colder. Okay, just make it colder like 10,000 to 9,000. Okay, 9,000 Kelvin. make it similar to the moon, okay, the color temperature. And shadow, you can create higher because it's really weak. Yeah, comparing to the sun, the moon can be weaker. The moonlight can be weaker. So around 5 to 10, it's acceptable. You see, if it is 10, also simulation like a cloudy night, take it 5, well, suitable with the shape. Yeah, I prefer to have shape. Something related to brightness, 5, really weak. Yeah, also 5 to 10. If it's beyond 10, well, it's too bright for the moon. Not so good. So I prefer you here. And here also with the effect, indoor brightness this time, you need to get brighter. Yeah, the indoor brightness, you see, it's inside. And also just make sure, get all this control, select it, make a warm feeling. Okay? A warm feeling will definitely cause a proper changing. Well, did I select I didn't select the light, right? Let me check. Where's my sun? It changed my sun. Okay. Turn to cold feeling. Warm indoor, cold outside. Okay, just pay attention about this. Warm indoor, cold outside. And keep with the same logic. And then you can get a render. If you want to have some more decors, for example, with the lights, with the luminous product, with the outdoor lightings, still adding up and put, it's fine, similar to the interior design. But at least you have the ambience, the sun ambience, the moon ambience, then it's fine. So if you really want to ask about the difference, is it harder or easier to have the customized lights comparing the interior and the exterior? I really suggest my opinion is it depends on your case. Most of the time, get it well controlled with the luminous light, luminous product, and you will have easier result actually in the outside design, whether it's in the at night or during the daytime. Yeah, it will be easier because only those elements, right? So so far we actually finished the course. If you have any other questions, you can also just leave a message in the chatting box. If not, I think yeah, we can actually end up today. Okay, so no more questions? No other questions? No? Well, if no other question, I think we can end up here. So thanks again for your attending and hope you can try, also turn it back and then try yours. And we're really looking forward to see your opinions and what you want to learn next time. Okay, so that's it for today's course and see you next round. Thank you and bye bye.